Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
What's good? What's good? What's good? Combat Conversation family. What's happening? My man, what's going on? So listen. Quite a few things to talk about today. Glad to be back on another Sunday. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend, or if you celebrate the holiday, or however you guys chose to observe the weekend. Hope it worked out great for you. So, with that being said, quite a few things today that we will have going over. What's up, my man Lance? What's happening, bro? How you be? I see you. Give me 1 second here. My man is all right. Cool. Got you. All right. So, in a few minutes, we will have a quick guest calling in. Professional, was amateur, just crossed over into the realm of professional fighters. Lee Polk, he'll be calling in a few. We're going to rap to him for a little bit. Hey, Shari, what's going on? Hey, baby, how you feeling? I see. We're going to talk to him for a little while. We're going to take a look at next Saturday's events, UFC 251. The card of that event has been a bit of a roller coaster. And it seems as if they're attempting to narrow it down. We had one of the fighters that was scheduled to fight in the main event for the welterweight title, Gilbert Burns. He was scheduled to fight Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title, but he had to be pulled from the fight because he tested positive for COVID-19. And it appears as if they are going to replace him, or they are currently in negotiations to replace him with the current BMF. I'm sure if you don't know what BMF means, bad mother effer, belt holder, my man Jorge Masvidal. It appears as if they are going to replace Gilbert Burns with Masvidal, and they're in negotiations to get that contract finalized now to keep the main event in place for this Saturday, the 11th. UFC 251 main event. Also on that card, quite a few dope fights on that card. There's 3 title fights on that card, actually. We have that fight for the welterweight bout, which will be, hopefully, as it looks, Usman versus Masvidal. We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Mad Max Holloway for the featherweight title. And we have Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo for the vacant bantamweight title. So we're going to talk about that as well. We also have a bit of sad news in the world of MMA. The Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov, his dad, a very, very popular, very, very world-renowned MMA trainer, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, his dad, passed away due to complications from the coronavirus. This pandemic, man, this is crazy, man. All the stuff that's taking place with this virus. He's an older guy. I think he was 55 years old, and he was hospitalized. One of the reasons why Khabib not at first and afterward did not want to leave Russia due to the seriousness of his father's illness. He passed away recently due to complications from the virus. So the MMA world has been mourning his death. A lot of people paying respects to the late great trainer's life. So we'll talk about that briefly. And we will also take a look at Top Rank. It seems like boxing's been trying to make quite a strong comeback, man, especially on ESPN, man. They've been putting together some pretty decent cards as of late. They have another card. Top Rank will have another ESPN card this Tuesday, July the 5th. You got super lightweight fight Jose Zapata versus Kendo Castaneda. We will take a look at that as well. So while we're waiting for my man Lee Polk to come through, we're going to talk to him. We're going to interview him, ask him a couple questions, see if he'll stick around with us to talk about UFC 251 and the other events that we'll have going on and coming up. As a man, I always have fun rapping to him, man. He's a pretty solid dude, man. He's an MMA guy that's usually in the building. He comments, he hops in and out of the live feeds a lot as well. But that's the homie, man. So he's going to come through. We're going to talk to him in a few. But while we're waiting for him to call through, to call in rather, we're going to start by taking a look at this upcoming Saturday, July the 11th, the UFC 251. So the headliner for that card initially was supposed to have been Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns for the welterweight title. And of course, with UFC being in the forefront of trying to get the sports world back to some type of normality, they started putting the fight cards back together and hosting the events. And with that came a lot of health concerns. So the UFC began testing the fighters who wanted to fight, get back into the octagon. They were testing them quite often. And there were quite a few fighters that had to get scrapped from various cards because of the return of some positive tests. So it looks as if right now we can add Gilbert Burns, number one ranked welterweight, Gilbert Burns, to that list. He will not be able to compete in UFC 251. He was one of the headliners to fight on the main event for that card, but he had to be scratched from the card because of positive COVID-19 test. Man, that was a fight that a lot of people were looking forward to see. But the replacement fight for that could be a blessing in disguise. We'll get to that in a second. Report from ESPN, obviously. Gilbert Burns, 33 years old. He appeared to be a little disappointed, understandably so, regarding the removal of him from that card. You know, of course, one thing I will say about this, a lot of people have their opinions about Dana White, good and bad. But I will say this on a positive note. With a lot of the health concerns that people had when they saw and they knew that, my man Mike, what's good, baby? I see you on the IG live feed. What's happening? A lot of people had concerns in regards to the UFC being able to protect the fighters' safety, the fighters' health. And it appears, hey, good morning, Mom. I see you, Mama Marjorie. How you feeling? It appears as if that the UFC and or Dana White are doing the best to keep their word in regarding to protecting the fighters. The fighters are being tested multiple times. You see them in between fights and in between rounds, sometimes disinfecting, cleaning the ring. And through those multiple coronavirus tests, all the positive tests that you see that the fighters that come back positive, they're immediately scratched from the card. And it appears as it's at least on face value that they're more concerned with fighter safety and fighter health than they are trying to make the profit and the dollar, which seems to go against usually how Dana operates. But I have to say that I'm impressed. They are trying their best to do that, as it appears. I see you, Mike. Yeah, I saw Joe Rogan said the same, and I noticed that too, man. I guess it gives the fighters some type of relief, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure how comfortable they feel fighting, knowing the possibility of them contracting the virus and getting sick. And even some fighters, you have some people who won't really get sick. They might be asymptomatic, as they call it. But the possibility of them catching it is very, very real. And you see it makes you feel good, I guess, more particularly as a fan, and I'm assuming even as a fighter as well, to see that they are doing their best to take the proper precautions to keep the fighters safe. They're doing their best to put fighter safety in the forefront, and that's always a good thing, always a positive. But with that being said, he was tested. His test came back positive. They had to scratch him from the fight. ESPN is saying that the MMA Junkie was the first people who put the report out, so I have to give them credit for that. So MMA Junkie seems that they were the first to report that he would not be able to compete because of the positive test, hence his removal from the fight. It said that the UFC chartered flight from Vegas to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is where they're having Dana's having this Fight Island. Every time I hear Fight Island, I think about Enter the Dragon and Bruce Lee, man, with Jim Kelly, John Paxson. It's just the way that sounds, man. Mr. Handman. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, they were not on the flight to Fight Island, of course, because of the positive test. It says that neither Usman nor Burns was on the flight, but Usman's test came back negative. My man Mike, you can't take that short-term risk of potentially catching and risking. You can't. You absolutely cannot. It's too risky. It's too dangerous. And I do. Again, I applaud them for that, man, for keeping that the fighter safety in the forefront. You just can't take that chance. You just can't. Now, when it was announced, it was brought out that that Burns would not be able to compete. The two most, I would say, notable contenders for that welterweight division, Masvidal and Colby Covington, immediately went to Twitter to try to make their case to get the fight. Now, as far as Colby MAGA Jaw Covington is concerned, don't get me wrong, I know I say that as a joke, but Colby Covington, he got some scrap in him, man. Even though I'm not a fan of him as a person, that has nothing to do with his ability to fight. Colby got it in him, let's be clear. But we saw how that first fight turned out between him and Usman. Usman wrecked him. So, obviously, if Colby has an opportunity to get back at Usman, he's going to take it. So he made his case to try to get a rematch with Usman. Now, the flip side of that coin is Masvidal did the same. And it appears as popular a fighter as Masvidal is, Masvidal is the fighter, or is the fight against Usman that most people want to see, that fight that people would love to see the most. But if you remember, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, there was a big stink about Masvidal and his contract negotiations wanting more money because of his place in the rank and him having the BMF belt and his popularity and how much of a money draw he is and people wanting to see him fight, which in Masvidal's defense, he makes a good case for. And with Burns being scratched and Dana and the UFC knowing that people want to see Masvidal fight Usman for the belt, I figured that this contract negotiation and the money situation, or lack of money, lack thereof, concerning the money, in Masvidal's case, would be a major stumbling block in regards to getting this fight put together and done. It does not seem that that is the case. Looking at Bloody Elbow, reading the report from Bloody Elbow this morning, I see you, Lee. I see you, baby. Just wait for you to call in. This morning, it appears as if that the negotiations are almost to a close. I'll get to that in a second as well. According to Bloody Elbow, what they reported this while I was surfing the web about 8 this morning, and it says that the only thing that they appear to be waiting for is for Masvidal's negative COVID test to come back. He obviously had to be tested in order to be placed on the card to make sure he's safe and okay for them to give him the green light to fight. And it appears as if as long as his test comes back negative, he's going to take that fight on a week's notice. Now, I'm sure they don't call him game bred Masvidal for nothing. Because the game bred, he fight at the drop of a dime. Anybody. But if he's able to go in there and handle his business against a champion the caliber of Usman and walk out with that belt, on a week's notice, that speaks volumes about Masvidal. I'm just curious to see how this is going to pan out. If they're actually going to be able to come to an agreement regarding these contract negotiations, because he said that initially when he was a contender and they were considering putting him in the ring with Usman, the amount of money they offered him was less than the amount he made fighting Diaz for the BMF belt. Which I gotta be honest, man. Depending on, I don't know the exact what the figures look like, but if that's the case, if that's true, that can be very, very frustrating, especially if you're fighting for a championship belt. Like, come on. But nevertheless, we'll have to wait and see. We'll find out. But it appears as if they might have found a replacement on a week's notice, man. I hope he can fight. I hope so too, man. I mean, I don't see, again, you never know with someone's testing whether or not they're going to be, I promise you guys. But listen, I'm hoping that is the case. I'm hoping that, there's nothing that will prevent him from being able to come back, or like a positive test. That will be devastating. I mean, and I don't, they always have, I guess, Colby Covington sitting in the wings. But, I mean, if you had to choose, would you really want to see, I guess, a rematch between, I don't know. I mean, I guess, fan preference, to each his own. I'm just trying to figure out how a rematch between, if that was the worst case scenario, between, just saying, hypothetically, if Masvidal's test came back positive or he couldn't take the fight on a week's notice or whatever reason be, just how likely would Dana be to schedule a rematch between Usman and Covington? I can't rule it out. Can't rule it out. I'm just saying. I don't know how. I'm not sure. You never know, man. But we're going to find out. So, I'm just anxious to see how this main event is going to turn out, man. But we'll find out. So we have give me 1 second. Okay, all right, that's my man Lee. All right, he's going to call through in a second. Yep, that's it, Lee. My man. All right, so, wow, the number's not working. Okay, crap. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm talking to Lee on the messenger now. Okay. All right. So, where were we? All right. Yeah. So with that UFC 251 card, so hopefully we'll still have that championship fight, and the 2 other title fights on that card. We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Mad Max Holloway. Now, I am a Mad Max Holloway fan. And I'm anxious to see if he's going to be able. See, this thing is here, man, with this featherweight division. All right, so you got the champ. You got champ Alexander Volkanovski. He's 21-1. He's been on an incredible roll as of late. His win streak has been ill. He only has 1 loss. Again, 21-1. He hasn't had a professional MMA loss since 2013. That extends back to before he got to the UFC and he's fighting pro. The thing with him is, oh man, let me see. Wow. Oh wow, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. There's some technical difficulty with the number. And let me get Lee on here. Oh, it looks like it was on my end. Oh, got you. Lee, if you see this, I just sent you the right one. My man. Okay, all right, we're good. All right, so, again, I'm looking at this second fight, man. I'm just imagining how stacked this card is, you know. Oh, there he is, my man Lee. Here we go. Let me see. All right, combat conversation. You on the line? Who we got?
What's up, buddy?
My man Lee Polk. What's good, baby? Hey, my fault, man. I just realized the number I sent you was the wrong link. So that's my bag, man. That's my bag. I apologize. How you make it out, brother?
Doing good. I was up here at the gym. Had to give me a little workout in.
Oh, okay, cool. I ain't cut you short, did I?
No. As soon as we done, I'm gonna get right back to it.
Oh, okay. You good? How much time you got? You good to go?
Oh yeah, I'm good to go.
My man. Hey, man. So I was talking about the UFC 251 card. So I will get to that in a second. But first, man, I want to rap to you about your transition, man. First, let me say congratulations. I know that last time we talked, you were still dibbling dabbling in the amateur circuit, but you made the jump to pro. So let me start by saying congratulations. How does it feel?
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My man. Hey, so with that being said, which pro MMA organization did you officially sign with?
I take my first fight with the AFC Alabama Fighting Championship out of Rainsville, Alabama. That's where the next card would be at.
Okay, so that will be your official debut?
My official pro debut.
My man. Are you nervous? You ready to rock? What's good?
I can't really say if it's nervousness. This will be my 11th walk, you know. So I think all the nerves probably leave you after the third or fourth fight, at least for me anyway. You know, so not just nervousness. I'm ready just to. I'm at the point where I'm just ready to go in and get it over with.
Understood. So, since you've gone pro, do you still train at the same gym since you've gone pro?
I started training with a gym down in Dalton, Georgia, called the North Georgia Highest and MMA Academy. Their style, I think, fits what I do, you know, pretty well. So, and I had gone down there and cross-trained with them a couple times, and you know, we just had a fun time down there. So I just joined them full time.
Okay. Hey, I'm not sure if you can see on the live feed. You got a couple people chiming in, giving you congratulations on the Instagram feed. So listen, if anybody has any questions for Lee, man, you can always post your questions on the IG live feed, post your questions on the Facebook live feed, or you can call in 516-590-0996. So, before you called in, again, so that was my fault, fumbled the football there, but before you called in, we were talking about UFC 251 and how the pandemic has affected this card. I'm not sure if you heard, you probably have heard by now, but Gilbert Burns has been scratched from that main event to go against Usman, and it looks like if the negotiations hold as they are, Masvidal will be taking that fight on a week's notice. Has the pandemic affected your training or your transition to pro in any way?
I think honestly the pandemic has affected, you know, pretty much anyone who's in any kind of athletics. For me personally, of course, you know, it affected, you know, couldn't go to the gym like I wanted to.
Right.
So I was pretty much stuck with doing like just, you know, going out and running, you know, and trying to do like a body weight workout, which, you know, that can only get you so much. But of course, I mean, I'll probably be just like everybody else, you know. You know, we'll see how we won't really see how it affected us until we step into the cage.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
So, but like I said, everyone, you know, we tried to do the best we could with what we had, you know, and that's all you can do.
That's pretty much
just,
it, man.
Can't make no excuse. You know, just gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, you know, I'm sure, you know, guys that don't have the the outlets that we have, and they're still getting it done. So you got to do the best of what you got and keep going.
You're absolutely right, because like you said, they're probably not going to make the excuses either. You know what? You're absolutely right. So now, since we're talking about the pandemic, we spoke earlier about how Dana White and the UFC are taking a lot of measures to keep their fighters safe. You see fighters getting tested multiple times. You see fighters getting scrapped from the card. Are you aware of any measures, and or what measures are the AFC taking to keep you and your team and probably their staff safe?
Well, I was just tested. This will be coming up next week. The AFC, they're going to have a COVID testing at the weigh-ins.
Okay.
And that'll be my third time tested in as many weeks.
Wow, the third test?
I've been tested a week ago, and then I got tested earlier this week when I did my blood work and everything. So everything came back okay. So, and then, like I said, next week at the weigh-ins, I'll be tested again.
Wow.
So, they're doing everything they can to keep everybody safe.
Which test are they giving you? Are they putting the Q-tip all up in your thoughts?
The first test I had was the Q-tip. The second one was through my blood work.
Okay.
And I think the third one next week will probably be with the Q-tip again.
Okay. Gotcha. Understood. But like you said, you're doing what you got to do, man. Let me see. How can I say this? With the measures, obviously they put measures in place. Do you feel like these measures that they're putting in place are they allowing you to be comfortable fighting? Do you feel more level of comfort knowing that these measures are in place?
Yeah, because I've got kids, so I definitely don't want to bring nothing. I got kids and a wife, so I definitely don't want to bring nothing back to the family. So
absolutely.
I think Sam McAlpine, he's the promoter of the AFC, so he's doing everything he can to make sure everybody's comfortable and safe, and because at the end of the day, that's his business, so he's got to do everything he can to make sure he goes with flying colors. So like I said, they're doing what they can to keep everybody safe, and I have no worries.
Oh, okay. Hey, I got a quick question that popped up on the IG live feed from my man Mike. He says that are you looking to practice different styles, or are you sticking strictly with Muay Thai? I guess he's familiar with you doing Muay Thai.
Yeah, a coach, I got Witten did some cross training with them. Chet Blaylock he's out in East Ridge, Tennessee, and Witten cross-trained with him one time. He said the best thing that you can do is just sharpen what you're good at. Make sure that whatever it's good to add those skills, but whatever you're really good at, whatever you feel comfortable with, then sharpen those skills. So I definitely, especially training with North Georgia Hyaston, they've actually added a new element to the striking, which I do like. It's because I'm kind of hard-headed, so I was used to just walking people down and taking those shots, and I'm 40 years old, so I don't want to be taking shots too. So we've been doing a lot of get in and get out, because it's a fight. You're going to get hit, but you don't want to take too many of them.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, and I've done we've been working on a lot of ground stuff, and I've gone to some grappling competitions. I've done 3 grappling competitions. I won 2 of them.
Oh, that's what's up.
The third one, which I lost, which I'm still kind of salty about it because I didn't lose by tapping out or anything. I lost by overtime.
Oh, snap!
Because I didn't understand the rules.
Oh man!
Yeah, but even though I dominated the grappling match the whole time, I lost on overtime.
Wow.
But I think the fight, there's like I said, this will be my 10th time making that long. So,
that's what's up,
I've got to the point where there's not really a nervousness to it. It's I know exactly what I'm stepping into. I know why I'm doing it. So it's just I'm going out there and have some fun and let the chips fall where they may.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Hey, you mentioned earlier about being aware of not bringing something home to your family? I know you're a family man. I know you just blessed with a new addition not too long ago. I know we share similar careers as well. How do you find the balance? You know, balancing the family life, the full-time job, the training for the fighting. Is that difficult? How do you find that?
It gets difficult sometimes. You know, the wife, you know, she wants me at home. You know, and I want to be out training, but she understands that if she wants me to come home, you know, the same way I left, you know, I got to get that training in.
Oh man,
it's you know, of course, both have full-time careers. I got a truck or something running down the road. But it's just like say it can get tough, you know, but you know, especially with having a full-time career, you know, then getting home late, but you know, like I put in my time best I can. You know, there have been some times where I haven't been able to make it to practice because I'm working, you know, doing some overtime.
Understood.
You know, so then I just gotta, I won't make that excuse and say, well, didn't make it to practice today. I just gotta go home. You know, hell, there's a gym open. I'll go there, you know, put in, at least get in like some cardio or some strength training. So I've never made the excuse, well, I didn't make it to training today, I'm just going to call it a day. You know, if there's sunlight in the day, if there's still time in the day, I'm going to find something. If that's just, you know, running a couple of miles from the house and back, you know, I'm going to do something.
So now, talking about the training, it's interesting you should bring that up. With you going pro now, is there anything that you've changed about your training regimen? Did you add something? Did you take away something? Is the weight cut different? Is it more strict? What changed about your training regimen since going pro?
To be honest with you, I don't think anything changed. The training maybe is, I can say the training is a lot more intense.
Okay,
you know,
that makes sense.
This past, you know, this week, this is fight week right here. So this week we'll probably be tapering it down. You know, just kind of getting into rest and recovery mode, getting ready for the fight on Saturday. But like the past couple of weeks, the training has been a little more intense, and I can say that when I've gotten home, when I've come home from training, I've been, you know, just wore out. You know, just can hardly move, and you know, complaining to my wife, oh, I'm so sore. And my wife's like, well, you the one that decided you're gonna be a fighter, so suck it up.
Oh man,
yeah, the training itself is just there's a little more intense, you know. But you know, I think it more comes to a mental thing. I know my last day of training on Thursday, you know, my body was just, I was just slap wore out, you know. And
I can dig it, man.
Coach Nilo, he's one of those cats, you know, he's an older cat. He has no pity on it. He said, you know, he said, all right, we're done for the day. You know, I was like, I'm laying on the ground, you know, about to throw up and pass out. I'm like, no, give me one more round. You know, I say, all right, well, you want one more? Let's go. So he brings in got a little stud I work with. His name's George Lewis, and man, he's a 22-year-old monster, man. He comes there, jumps back on me, and I can barely move.
Wow.
You know, and he beats me down again, and coach is like, there's no pity in his voice. It's like, well, you want another round, you know, get up, you know, get up. You know,
right.
For me, I need that, you know, because, you know, even though and this comes to the mental part of it, you know, even though my body was tired, my mind was staying still, you know, get up, you know. So I know that in a fight, you know, because training is always harder than the fight.
Right.
So if I can get through that intense training, I know mentally I won't break during the fight.
That's dope, man.
And that's that, you know, it's just the training is just a lot more intense. But other than that, you know, I have fun with it, you know, go home, get some rest, and come back and do it again the next day.
That's what, as long, I think that when you have fun with it, that helps to motivate you as well, you know?
Yeah.
So, I always ask when I talk to guys this, and I get the answers are such a wide range. I'm not sure if it's because it was a broad question, but since you've gone pro, well, you're going pro now. I know you're going to make your pro debut soon. How can I word? how much of the politics aspect of the game have you had to deal with? And if you haven't had to deal with that yet, are you prepared to deal with that? Now, when I say politics of the game, meaning the contract negotiations, the amount of money, who you're going to fight, who you're not going to fight, the whole, everything under that politics of the game umbrella.
To be honest with you, I really haven't had to deal with the politics, even with the amateur part of it. And
Okay.
even then, if politics ever came up, I'll just shut it down. If I felt like it was something unfair, then because fighting is a choice. I don't have to fight if I don't want to.
Absolutely.
I haven't never signed any multi-contract with anybody, so it's my choice to fight whether or not I want to. So like I said, if there was a time though where I ever felt like politics got involved with anything I'm doing, then I'll just shut it down. Because I do this. I'm 40 years old. I do this for. I'm not looking to go to the UFC or anything like that.
Right.
I do this strictly for fun. And people are like, are you crazy? You do it for fun. I guess I'm just a crazy person because who says they get into a ring and into a cage and fight another person for fun?
Hey, you'd be surprised, man. But you know what they say? If you're doing what you love, it's not a job. You know what I mean? That's the saying. That's how the saying goes.
Exactly.
So, hey.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not. I have a career, so I'm not looking to change anything. This is something that this is my night out with the guys. I don't party or anything like that. So hey, you want to go get into a fight? Sure, let me get some training in. Let's go.
Listen, brother, I'm not even thinking. My wife done already threatened me, bro. She said, "Listen, if you die, I'm gonna kill you." I don't even know how. I'm not even sure what that means. Like I'm not even no. Listen.
My wife and my wife would get along pretty good.
Man. I mean, a younger me would consider, but no. I know I'm 44. I just turned 44 in May, so ain't no way, bro. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
So, thinking about that, considering the age, man, how have you seen yourself grow as a fighter from when you started up until now? What's the process been like for you?
I think because of my age, I've been able to I will listen. I know like a lot of the younger guys, they think they're on their world beaters on top of the world, and they have a problem with listening. I think that since I started at such a late age and that maturity was there, so I'm able to listen and take in any advice that's given to me and use it towards making myself better. I'm not trying to, like I say, I'm an older man. I'm not trying to get out there and put myself in any danger to get seriously hurt. So I think that maturity has allowed me to actually listen and take in, any information that will get me through a competition, safely.
Got you. That's dope, man. That constructive criticism. That's good though, man.
Yeah.
Has you fighting or has MMA in general, has it had any type of influence on your life outside of the cage or outside of the octagon?
I guess the one thing I do get a lot is, people will tell me, you're an inspiration because you just, especially, and I get and of course it always comes back to the age thing. Like, man, you're like, I look up to you because you're such a, I don't know, like, should I take that as an insult or
right? Like, what you trying to say, man?
Jumping into a young man's sport, which this, I'll be honest with you, this is truly a young man's sport.
Absolutely.
I can tell you right now, my mind, the will, mentally, the will is there. My body is saying, son, you got maybe one or two more times to get this going, and you need to give it on up. and that's fine, because
right.
let's say this is my one and done, I won't be upset with it because I went out and did something that a lot of people say they never could do or never will do. So I did something that a lot of people can't do.
That's dope.
So I see that in itself as a as a victory. And I'll go on, and if let's say I would like to do a couple, but if the cards don't play out like that, I'll still, I would love to, and I love training with the younger guys. I know that I can't do this for an extended period of time, but I do love training with like all the younger guys and being good, sparring partners for them and getting them ready, because I know that they're the future of the sport.
Absolutely.
I'm just passing through.
100%.
I'm just passing through. And if it's, like I said, if this is my one and done, or if I do a couple more, I'll see where the chips fall, and we'll take it from there. And if it is, I'll just go doing something else. My dream is still to be a screenwriter. So that's the top right there.
Oh, that's dope, though.
So this right here, like I said, I'm just passing through. And honestly, doing this sport right here, because this is a tough sport, But doing this has truly given me the confidence to say, okay, if I can walk into a cage and fight another human being, then hell, there ain't nothing I can't do.
Right. That's what's
there
up,
ain't nothing
man.
I can't do.
That's what's up.
That's the way I see it.
Oh man, hey, keep it.
Hopefully my kids will be like, hopefully my kids will be like, looking at, hey, if Dad could do that, then the sky's the limit for anything.
I was gonna say, keep it going as far as it allows you to go, as far as it'll take you, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, if anybody has any questions for my man Lee Pope, don't hesitate to call in 516-590-0996. Keep putting the questions on the IG live feed, on the Facebook feed. Let them know. Come talk to them. Hey, that's something I wanted to ask you, man. So let's just say, hypothetically, someone bought a ticket to one of your fights, man. I said, I want to come see Lee Pope fight. What can someone coming to one of your fights expect to see from you? What type of fighter is Lee Pope? What can they expect?
Lee Pope is one of those fighters that I'm a go. I'm gonna take your best hit, and I'm gonna smile and keep walking forward.
Oh man, that's a good thing though. That's a good thing, man. All right, so hey man, so now, before I let you go, I want to ask you about this. I got to talk to you about this UFC 251, man. So we were just talking about it before you called in, and of course, we discussed the pandemic, how Gilbert Burns got scratched, and it looks like at this point, all they're waiting for is for Masvidal's test to come back negative. Obviously, if it comes back negative, it appears as if he and his camp are going to agree to the Usman fight. Who do you, if this goes forward, which at this point it looks like it will, who do you like in this fight, man? Who you going? You going Usman? You going Masvidal? What do you think?
Man, I'm a fan of both of them.
Me too.
But as I know that Usman's been training for this fight, so you know what, and I know that Masvidal is always training, so I can't say that he won't be ready. Who knows? He could have been on the replacement to step in just in case something did happen. So he's probably been training anyway.
Right.
To be honest with you, as a fan of both, I just hope for a good fight.
I do. I am.
I can't really say.
I said that to somebody yesterday. I said because Masvidal, he's taking this fight basically on a week's notice, and I'm sure that Usman has been training. But if his camp is how I think is operating, he's been training to fight Burns. So he's preparing to fight that type of fighter. I'm not sure if Masvidal will equate to that same type of fighter. So I'm not really sure which way to go with this. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you got to think about it, Lucy, because, Masvidal is basically, 80% striker.
He loves to stand and bang.
So,
right.
And Gilbert Burns, Gilbert Burns, we really haven't seen he's been striking the past couple of fights.
Yes.
So, who knows? It could be the same style, just a different fighter.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Except with, like you said, but, Gilbert's having that ground, that would have been the X factor. But Usman is a world-class wrestler, so
yes, he is.
You got that too. So I think it's I hate to say whoever gets off first will be the winner because they're both tough, SOBs.
Right.
That's a tough one. I don't, like I said, I'm a fan of both, so I just hope it's a good fight.
I plan on this being a good fight. Again, pending this moves forward and his test comes back negative. The second of 3 title fights on that card, we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Mad Max Holloway for the featherweight title. I'm a big Max Holloway fan. I like Volkanovski too, but I love Max. Max is one of my guys. Volkanovski, 21-1. He's been on a mean winning streak. He only has 1 loss. He hasn't lost since May of 2013. And he's the one who beat Max for the title by unanimous decision back in December. Now they get to run it back. With Max, he's the former champ. He's 21-5. He's ranked number 1, and he's hungry to get his belt back. I'm going Max with this one. Who do you like?
I'm going Max with this one because I didn't think he lost the first fight.
I was kind of torn. I could see it going either way. I did feel like Max did more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought Max did more, so I think he won the first one. So I think Max, knowing what kind of fighter he is, he probably will look back and say, okay, I was this close. So what do I need to do just to get over that that hump? So I think he learned from whatever mistakes he made, and then I think he'll go back out and regain the title. So that's my opinion. I ain't nobody. So.
Hey, before I talk about the next fight on that card, I got another question to shout into you on the IG live feed. It's from Mike. It says, if you did make it into the UFC, what would that mean for you?
What would that mean for me? That means my wife would be very upset.
Good answer. Good answer.
I wouldn't be able to turn that down.
Oh,
but,
man.
I'm not, to be honest with you, and here's the thing about that. To be honest with you, I would never look toward, the UFC has never been on I would never want to be, it's never been something I would like to be a part of now.
Okay.
I'm more of a fan of, I like watching UFC, but I'm more of a fan of one championship as far as, let's say if someone gave you, they said, Lee, you can be a part of Bellator 1 or the UFC. To me personally, I would choose one championship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's, I like the way that it's all about competition with them. They don't believe in it's the traditional way, no smack talking. It's all about the athleticism. So me being an old head, I'm more about the respect and the traditionalness of mixed martial arts and martial arts in general. And possibly because I can't talk smack, I wouldn't be good in the UFC.
Hey, I'll be your writer, man. I'll talk all the smack. Oh, that's all good, man. All right, so back to this UFC card. We got a third. This card is stacked, man. We have a third championship bout. You have Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo for the vacant bantamweight belt. You got ranked number 3. Yeah, I know, right? This card is stacked. Yan, he's 14-1. He's ranked number 3. He's on a 9-fight win streak. He hasn't lost since March of 2016. And Jose Aldo's been around for a minute. I'm talking about a minute. He's he's ranked number 6 in the bantamweight division. He's also ranked number 11 in I think it's the featherweight division. He's a former featherweight. He moved over to bantamweight. Unfortunately, he's lost 2 in a row. He lost to the champ we were just talking about, Volkanovski, back in 2019. Then he moved down to bantamweight in October. He had his bantamweight debut against Marlon Morales, and he lost that by split decision. That fight could have went either way either. I'm a big fan of Jose, but I'm not sure how he's going to fare against Yan, so I'm leaning a little more toward Peter Yan in this one. Who do you like?
Jose is he's the OG.
He's definitely an OG.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a big me personally. I'm a big fan of Russian fighters. I'm a Russian fighter like Peter Yan, who trains at Tiger Muay Thai, trains Muay Thai. What else can you
That's
say?
right up your alley.
Right. That's right up my alley, you know.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm a fan of Jose, but me personally, like I said, I've been following Peter Yan since I think it was I want to say he fought in the ABC Federation.
I believe so.
And that's when he first got on my radar. That's when he first got on my radar. I'm gonna have to go with, as much as I like Jose, you know, I'm gonna have to go with Peter Yan.
Got you. Okay. Also on that card, and again, a stacked card. This is not a championship bout, but this is for the women's strawweight. You got number 1 against number 2. Jessica Andrade versus Thug Rose Namajunas. Jessica ranked number 1, women's strawweight, 20-7. She lost the strawweight championship against that monster, Zhang Wei. Wei is a monster. But she lost the belt to her. And she won the fight before in May, beating Rose Namajunas. So this is a rematch. Rose looking to get back at her. If Rose wins this, Rose might get a shot at Zhang for that strawweight belt. I'm kind of torn on this one. I'm leaning a little more toward Thug Rose. Who do you like?
In the words of DC, Thug Rose.
I'm a big fan of Thug Rose, man.
I'm gonna go with Thug Rose because, like I said, even in the first fight, you know, Rose wasn't doing bad. You know, she got caught with that slam, and hell,
that's what took her out. That slam ended it, man. Yeah.
You know, it was a slam. You know, and she was doing fine. She just got caught with that. I think she was trying to get the Kimura lock, a standing Kimura, and got picked up and slammed. So that happened. You know, but I'm not saying that Andrade isn't a good fighter. I'm just I'm a fan of Thug Rose striking, and I'm a fan of her grappling.
Absolutely.
So, I'm a fan.
Absolutely. My man, Lee, man, it's always a pleasure talking to you when you come through, man. I know we always keep in touch over the book, over the gram a lot, man. I gotta call you more often. I got your number, man. I'll make sure we stay in touch, man. But I definitely thank you. I definitely appreciate you coming through. And you always show the show a lot of love, man. I just want to give you my thanks and my appreciation for that as well. I definitely want to give you that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Oh yeah, well, I'm making up to South Carolina sometime. We're gonna get into training together.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm down. I'm down. Absolutely, man. Hey, are there any shout outs you want to give before I let you go?
Just give a shout out to everyone who's supported me. Wolf Georgia, Heist and MMA. Thanks for all the work. I appreciate it. AFC, Sam McElpine, thank you for the opportunity. Wife, Marlena, for putting up with my craziness. All 4 of my kids, I love y'all. And just everyone else who has supported me on this and given me a like on the gram. You know, I do, at the end of the day, I do it for hearts on the gram. For the gram, baby.
I can dig it, bro. I can dig it. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. I'll make sure we talk real soon, man. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Most definitely.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot, bro.
All right, man.
All right, cool. Oh, man, that was professional fighter Lee Polk. Oh, man, I always have a pleasure talking to that brother, man. He's a cool dude, man. I'll make sure I post the interview and this show itself on the YouTube channel. I always post on the YouTube channel after the show. So for those of you who missed the interview, you can go back. I have the live feed posted on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page, and for those of you who follow me on YouTube, I'll post the show on the YouTube channel as well. Before we leave, 2 quick things. A bit of sad news in the world of MMA, unfortunately. You have the MMA world mourning the loss of Khabib, the Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov's dad, a world-renowned MMA trainer. Excuse me, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, the father of Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Eagle, passed away recently due to complications from the coronavirus. This sad news was reported Friday afternoon out of Russia. Again, world-renowned MMA trainer Abdulmanap He coached his son to a UFC championship. He was in the hospital since May. Got diagnosed with COVID-19. He was admitted after suffering a heart attack and pneumonia, which was brought on by complications due to him testing positive for the virus. It was reported last month that he was in a coma and was not responsive. Russian leader Ramzan Kadyrov announced his passing on Friday. Just a sad series of events throughout via Twitter. Seeing a lot on the Instagram as well. A lot of world-renowned competitors and fighters and announcers in the world of MMA have been paying their respects to Khabib's dad, Abdulmanap. He will truly be missed in the world of MMA. UFC commentator John Anik paid tribute to him on Twitter, said that he was deeply saddened to hear this news. His heart goes out to the ever-classy champion Team Khabib and his family. I will never forget that moment between father and son in the octagon at UFC 242 last fall. He passed away at 57 years old. We send our utmost and sincere condolences to Khabib and his family over in Russia. Sad news. And also, this Tuesday, July the 7th, ESPN, again, putting on quite a few nice top-ranked boxing cards. We will take a look at the card that we have this Tuesday. Will be a super lightweight bout between Jose Zapata and Kendo Castaneda. That seems like a pretty cool fight. Zapata is 30-2 with 2 no contests. He'll be fighting Castaneda on Tuesday. And Zapata just won the vacant WBC light welterweight title, beating Jose Pedraza by unanimous decision back in September. And that was the title that he had previously lost to Jose Ramirez in February of 2019. Now he's fighting at super lightweight versus Castaneda. Castaneda, who was undefeated until his last fight versus Yomar Alamo. And Castaneda sits at 17-1. He has just that one loss, which was his most recent fight. This should make out to be a pretty cool fight, and that will air on ESPN this Tuesday. Make sure you check that fight out. Dope show today, man. Definitely, man. Lee, definitely shout out to my man, the homie Lee Pope, for calling in, giving us some MMA entertainment via the interview this morning. I definitely appreciate the love. I appreciate all y'all's love, man. A lot of y'all always show me a lot of love via the Facebook live feed, via the Instagram live feed. I'm always super appreciative. Keep it coming. I love talking to y'all. I will see you guys again next Sunday. That will be the 12th. Next Sunday, the 12th, where we will discuss the results of UFC 251 and all up-and-coming future events that we'll have for the following week. I will see you again this Sunday. And until then, talk to you later, family.